everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Celeste.
And hi, I'm Tyler.
And for today's video, we are going to share with you guys our green card or adjustment of status interview journey. We're also going to talk about all the documents that we submitted as a proof of bona fide marriage.
And we're also going to share with you guys some tips, some of the questions, and what we were wearing to the interview.
As you guys can see, we're wearing something kind of business formal. I am wearing something business formal, and Tyler, he's not wearing a tie, but if you guys want to wear a tie, that's totally fine. It's like extra points. You just don't want to, wear something like t-shirt or just a regular pants. It's okay, but it's always good to give the officer like a good first impression. Like you're taking it seriously. We applied through the C9 category, so that is marriage-based. Tyler, my husband, he's my US petitioner and I'm the petitionee. And he is a US citizen. And also we sent in our application month of October last year. It's kind of a long wait. I think it's because of the COVID. So we were initially scheduled for interview, I can't remember, month of June or something. And then they had to cancel that because of COVID.
So we had our interview at the local USCIS office just right down the road. We waited in line just outside for COVID. We were all 6 feet apart. And then as we came in, we had to have our masks on. And then they checked your temperature as you're walking in. And they also ask you a few COVID questions, just some related. How are you feeling? You felt any different lately?
Did you travel lately, or
Yeah.
do you have any COVID-19 symptoms?
We also had to arrive 15 minutes early. It's very important. They want you to be there on time. And right before you go in, you pass through a metal detector, just like at an airport. Feels pretty much just like that. And then the officer will take you to sign a paper, and then once you do that, you go into your interview and you sit behind 2 plexiglass windows to block you off, and then they give you an iPad right in front of you, and she asks her questions through that, and that's how we did the interview. This is how our office did things. Some other places may do them a little bit differently. You might check in a little differently, but for the most part, you are in an interview with another person asking questions back and forth.
It's actually very easy. We actually thought it's like very stressful and very hard. No, it's not. It's very easy. Everything went smooth. They're not gonna allow or permit entry 15 minutes prior to your interview, so we were scheduled for 2:30 p.m. So we got there at exactly 2:15 p.m. Metal detector security, it was actually very easy. You just have to remove your belt, everything that's in your pocket,
And your shoes.
and also make sure not to bring a lot of stuff. You can just leave your purse or your bag in your car. Just leave your phone. I think you are not allowed to bring your phone, so just don't bring it. Just bring all your IDs, all your documents, and that's it, to make everything fast and smooth. Also, this is another tip for you guys. Don't stress too much about it. Come prepared. Coming over prepared is actually good, but don't be so stressed out. We've been there than that. We stressed so much about it. We thought it's gonna be so hard, just like how other people are saying, but it really wasn't. Like, trust me, it was very easy and very smooth. Like, once you get there and enter the facility, you're gonna be all set. Everything will be quick. Now let's proceed to the most important part of this video, the interview questions. So this is going to be a combination of the interview questions that were asked to me, to Tyler, and for both of us. So let's start first to all the questions asked to me. So the first question that was asked to me was, what is your spouse's full name? So you have to say your spouse's first name, middle name, and last name. Next is, what is your spouse's date of birth? Next, they asked me for my in-laws' names. Where is your spouse's place of birth? Where do you and your spouse live? So it's also good for you to tell them where you lived previously. Always tell them the full details, full address and all that, including the zip code.
And that's why it's good to review. Make sure you know your dates. You don't want to stutter and sound like you don't know what you're saying, even though you do.
You have to sound really confident, and you should know all the most important questions, like date of birth, the full name, place of birth, and the address as well. I remember the officer asked me like 5 times about my address. So she was like, which unit were you guys staying? What is the street again? Can you spell that for me? At first I thought she just didn't know the address. But I was like, wait, I updated my address online on their website, and I was like, long ago. So she had like a record and all of my address, but I think she was like testing me whether I really know the full address. So it's like a trick. So
of the basics of the information you should already know, they're gonna make sure that you know it. So your address, family names, relative names, middle names.
Also, guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. There are times when you're going to accidentally say a mistake, let's say address or the birthday, you know, like especially when you're nervous, just be honest with them. Just tell them, oh, I'm sorry, you know what, this is the right answer, blah 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 blah. They will understand that. They're humans. They can understand. Like, don't be so stressed out when you accidentally say something wrong. You can always correct that. She also asked me when and where we got married. You have to be very specific about it. So was it in a courthouse? Was it like a, how do you say that, like a church kind of wedding? And then she asked me as well, how long did you date before you decide to get married? It's good to be straight to the point if it's like a yes or no question, but if it's kind of like a you know, like a story kind of question,
an open-ended question,
yeah, it's good to tell them a little bit of story. Not too long and not too short as well. Who attended the wedding? So all your guests, family, relatives, friends, whoever those people are, just tell them those. Did you have any witness or witnesses? Let's say it was a court wedding or a civil wedding. So you have to know the full name of your witnesses as well. And they asked me, what is your relationship with your witnesses? Are they your friends? Are they your parents, your siblings? What did you do after the wedding? So did you guys do a honeymoon? What was the reception like? Did you have any reception? Did you just go out to eat and celebrate? All those kind of stuff. Why did you decide to get married? So that is kind of like a very general kind of question, like why did you decide to get married? So again, tell them a story. Don't be like, because I love her. I mean, it is a correct answer, but be like me, for example. I think she asked me, right, that question,
yeah.
and I told him a story, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to be too specific about my story, but I gave her like a story of our like dating stage and how we ended up getting married. So
yeah, we just told him a few of the details. Really, you can leave out a lot of the other stuff you don't need to, but tell them some details, give them a few minutes here.
Also, when you tell them like a story or whenever you're answering them, answer from your heart. It's good to make them feel like how you guys are so, you know, in love with each other, not like clingy, like, you know, like you guys are almost faking it. Just be natural. And then the next question, since I was adjusting from J1 visa, she asked me, are you subject to a 2-year home country physical presence requirement based on the Immigration and Nationality Act, Section 212? And I was like, no, I wasn't. And she was like, is there any document stating that you are not subject to that? And I was like, yes, ma'am, you can see that on my visa, paper copy of my visa, and on my DS 2019. So if you guys are adjusting from the same category, J1 visa, make sure to bring your DS 2019, your training plan, and a copy of your visa as well, just to make sure. Next, where does your spouse work? And where do you work? How did you decide to get married? So, you know how earlier she asked me, like, why did you guys decide to get married? And then she also asked me, how did you decide to get married? So those are kind of like similar, but two different questions. Be consistent with your answers. So they might end up asking you two different questions, but kind of similar. So just be consistent with your answers all the time.
So they didn't ask me quite as many questions as they asked her, but you do still need to be specific. They asked me things like your spouse's name, spouse's date of birth, where your spouse was born. They also asked things, where does your spouse work? Where do your in-laws live? Or what do your in-laws do? Also, how did you and your spouse meet? So you can give a little story right there, not too long, not too short, little details. And then they also asked me, have I ever met her parents? And that was their final question.
Perfect. So yeah, not as much questions as what I've experienced. So it was about 30 minutes kind of interview. It only took that long because she has to review some documents, I think. And then after she asked him those questions, she proceeded to the I-485 form. She asked me all the yes or no questions. But yeah, you just answer no if they are all no. Like me, on my case, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything against the rule of the USCIS or US. So all my questions were no. So you just have to be honest with it, okay? Again, be honest about everything.
And those questions, they are not hard. They're just very specific. Criminal activity, if you've been around any criminal activity at all, basically. And were you involved in any criminal activity?
Those are like normal questions. So you're gonna be fine. Again, don't worry about it. Those are easy yes or no questions. Just
Easy,
be honest
but
with
intense.
it. Yeah, but just be positive. It's so easy, trust me. And then when she didn't have any more questions, she asked us if we want to submit more documents or proof of bona fide marriage. We were like, yes ma'am. So they gave us an envelope. Actually, like when we entered the facility, they gave us a piece of envelope right away. And like a piece of paper, don't sign it right away. The only time you're gonna sign it is when the officer told you to do so by the end of the interview. And then in the long yellow envelope, that's where you're going to insert all of your documents. So if it's not enough for you to put everything in there, just tell the officer, is it okay if I just put it on top of the envelope? And then we actually had like a huge photo album. It's like 100 all in all photos. We offered it to her and she was like, yeah, sure. I would love to see photos of you guys with other people, with third-party people, let's say with family, friends, different seasons, summer, winter, fall, holidays and stuff like that. That's what she wants to see. She's not interested to see like selfie photos of you guys all, you know, together all the time. It's like a big advantage if you guys will submit pictures with other people. It's like
friends and family.
Makes it, you know.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk about some of the documents that we submitted. Focus on the very important documents first that can prove the bona fide or legitimacy of marriage. Everything joint, everything that has both of your names in it. As much as possible, don't put anything there that has just your name, like your individual names in it and not joint. Let's say your personal checking account and your husband's or your wife's personal checking account. Instead, show them your joint bank statements, let's say joint checking, joint savings account and stuff like that. If you guys have insurance that has your partner as a beneficiary, it's also good, really good. Let's say health insurance, life insurance, whatever insurance you guys have. All the taxes that has, let's say, married filing jointly. Another very important proof is like the lease agreement or the mortgage. That is very important. If you guys have an apartment, make sure to submit to them all the lease agreements, all the lease addendums, stuff like that, with both your names in it. Very, very important. We also included some minor proofs, such as me being an authorized user of his Amazon Prime membership, Netflix. If you guys have phone plan, that's also a good one. We also showed them like our Costco membership and, you know, like having Tyler as my authorized user. And we also submitted the email confirmation of me being like an authorized user of his credit card or him being an authorized user of my credit card. Like everything that has both your names in it. Now let's proceed to the last part of this video. Tips. Number 1, be honest. Number 2, be positive. Number 3, smile all the time. Look at the iPad all the time, or if it's a person-to-person kind of interview, just look at the officer all the time.
Eye contact.
Very important, eye contact. Tell them a little bit of the story. Be on time, don't show up late, because they might automatically deny you if you guys don't arrive on time. We were not approved on the spot. We didn't know what's gonna happen at that time. We didn't know what was going on. She didn't say anything. All she said after all the questions, after we put all of our proofs in the envelope, was like, if we need something from you, you're gonna hear from me through mail. So regarding that, don't compare your journey to other people's journey. Some people will be approved on the spot and you might freak out and you might be like, why didn't we not get approved on the spot? Is there something wrong? Blah, blah, blah. Just wait. You will hear from them within weeks. We heard back from them in exactly a week after the interview. You will just be surprised. It is going to be card being produced or the interview was approved, blah blah blah, your case approved. Good news, we were able to make it. No RFE, no lawyer and everything, all done by me and Tyler. Just be
Mostly
confident her. Be confident, just, you know, be positive as well. And some people will tell you negative stuff like, this is hard, yeah, it's like, it's scary, the officer is like this and like that. It's okay, you know, like it's good to get ideas from other people, but just don't be scared or afraid of the interview just because of other people's bad experiences. Always know that as long as you go there, you know, nothing fake or anything, it wasn't like fake marriage, you're gonna be fine. No matter what, you're gonna be fine. Even if you accidentally say something by mistake or you forgot to say the right birth date of your spouse, you're gonna be fine as long as the marriage is real. Another tip that I want to include, when you guys organize your papers or your documents, make sure to label them all. Buy those sticker labels and then label everything. Let's say marriage certificate, lease agreement or mortgage and stuff like that, label them all, because the officer will appreciate that big time. They love that. It makes their job easier. Also, I didn't have to do another medical exam. They didn't ask me to. The officer didn't ask me for it. But again, some officers will ask you for it, some won't. Also, all officers are different. Some will be very nice, some will make it quick, some are gonna be, asking you a lot of questions. Everyone's experiences are gonna be different, but all I can say is just stay positive and just go there and be prepared, have your documents ready and all that, and you're gonna be fine. That's all that we wanted to share to you today, and I hope this video will help you a lot. Alright guys, so if you have any other question, feel free to message me through email. My email and my social media accounts are all down below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and if you guys have any other question, just feel free to comment down below. Thank you so much guys. Love you all.